I had one daughter who would always like sit there with food in her mouth.
We are examining the family life teaching coming out of Doug Wilson's community, and one of the themes we're looking at is the adversarial relationship between parent and child and this idea of winning or alpha dog parenting. So I'm going to stitch this reel. I want to give a content warning first for child abuse as well as disordered eating.
I had one daughter who would always like sit there with food in her mouth until she felt like throwing up. Ooh.
So we don't get a lot of context for this clip, but you can tell from the title of the episode, this is going to be about picky eating. And you can see even in the frame up of the story that the only agency being granted the child is that of rebellion. So there's no curiosity about what has led to picky eating, why a child is not able to eat this food or swallow this food.
And so she started to puke up a hamburger, started to tell this. I'm kind of sorry to tell this story, but...
I've noted before how revealing it is when parents and Christian parents especially joke about their children. And so here we have a father kind of joking about he's sorry, not sorry to tell this story, and another adult male is laughing. And whatever metric you use, even by the standards of their own community, this is a vulnerable moment of discipline or adversarial interaction between parent and child. So to make that a moment of lighthearted joking reveals a fundamental incapacity to see the personhood of a child and to wonder if the situation was reversed, is this a story they would want broadcast for the internet forever? Is this a respectful way to speak about this? And that's granting the story setup. I mean, you take a step further to people like me who already see problems with the story setup, and you think it's so calloused and demeaning to portray this story of child abuse in this way.
She started to puke up a bite of hamburger. She managed to make herself gag. I successfully got my hand under her mouth, caught that bite, and then picked up her hamburger that she had just vomited on, took it to the sink, rinsed off the patty, and rinsed off the bite and set it back on her plate.
When I hear this story being told, I hear the voice of a bully. I hear someone kind of boasting about the way they overpowered another human. And in this case, a human who is so much smaller and more vulnerable and dependent on their care, entrusted to their care. So it raises all sorts of red flags for me that, especially when you put it under a microscope, right? Because she's vomited it up. She's had a bodily response that in itself is distressing, and no comfort has been offered, no presence or help. Instead, something overpowering and invasive has happened. The storyteller is presenting this as though she did. This is like a willful defiance. But even if she did, this adult has overpowered her body, overpowered the agency she does have in one of the most fundamental ways to eat food or not eat food, and has dominated that in a very visceral and clear way to communicate, I have control over you in every capacity.
It's like...
The laughter is community endorsement. So this is N.D. Wilson's son speaking here, podcasting to countless families. So his choice to tell this story is revealing. The manner in which he tells the story is revealing, and the expected response is revealing. Not only is that whole sequence showing that this kind of behavior is perceived as normative in the community or even admirable, but he is telling this story from a platform to get supply and to get kudos and to get a kind of applause.
Even this doesn't get you out of it.
At the end, it cuts off, but he says, even this doesn't get you out of it. And there you really see the totalitarian authority granted parents under this kind of family life teaching. It isn't just aspirational alpha dog parenting. It is operating as a complete dominionist tyrant. And in a follow-up video, I want to explore the way control over food, conflicts over picky eating, orthorexia, and control of nutrition in religious communities plays into this. But for now, I really want to spotlight this as an example of how this approach to alpha dog parenting plays out in real life.